Hello, everyone, welcome to Shdows Secrit, where the veil between the living and the dead is thinner than you ever imagined. Today, we journey to a place so shrouded in mystery and terror that even the bravest souls dare not linger. Poveglia, Italy's forbidden ghost prison, an island drenched in blood, plague, and sorrow. Nestled between Venice and Lido, this small, unassuming island has a history that whispers of madness, death, and restless spirits. Few have set foot here, and fewer still have lived to tell the tale, for Poveglia is not merely abandoned. It is cursed, a tomb suspended in time, holding the echoes of thousands who suffered and perished within its confines. Its story begins in the dark annals of Venetian history, a time when plague swept mercilessly across Europe, leaving nothing but despair in its wake. In the 18th century, Venice was a bustling maritime empire, proud and powerful, yet vulnerable to the invisible enemy that was disease. The authorities, desperate to contain the plague, designated Poveglia as a quarantine station. Ships suspected of carrying the disease were forced to dock here, and the sick were ferried onto the island, abandoned to their fates. Death claimed them swiftly, leaving behind a mass of unmarked graves. Over the centuries, estimates suggest that hundreds of thousands of victims were interred here, their bodies buried hastily in mass pits, their anguish seeping into the very soil. The land itself became saturated with despair, a spiritual residue that would not rest. Walking on Poveglia, you are said to feel the weight of these souls pressing down, the air thick with sorrow and malevolence. But the horrors did not end with the plague. In the early 20th century, the island was transformed into a mental asylum, a place for the mentally ill who were often victims of society's cruelty rather than their own madness. It was here that Dr. Antonio Grosic, the asylum's chief physician, gained notoriety not for healing, but for his cruel experiments on the patients. The stories speak of dark corridors echoing with screams, of rooms where sanity was stripped away, and of a doctor who may have crossed the line from medicine into madness. Legends say that Dr. Grosic eventually succumbed to the very evil he unleashed, dying under mysterious circumstances, perhaps at the hands of the restless spirits he tormented. Locals whisper that his presence still lingers, wandering the ruins in search of victims to continue his experiments from beyond the grave. For decades, Poveglia has been off limits to tourists, its decaying buildings and overgrown pathways left to rot in silence. Yet, even abandoned, the island has a reputation for terror. Ghost hunters and thrill seekers who have dared to explore its shores report chilling phenomena, disembodied whispers carried by the wind, shadowy figures glimpsed between crumbling walls, sudden drops in temperature that send shivers down the spine, and an oppressive feeling of being watched. If unseen eyes pierce through your very soul, some claim to have felt invisible hands gripping their shoulders, pulling them toward the mass graves, toward the anguish that saturates the ground. One investigator described hearing the desperate cries of plague victims mingling with the maniacal laughter of asylum patients, a horrifying symphony of suffering that defies comprehension. Others have reported seeing apparitions of doctors and patients wandering aimlessly, trapped in the eternal torment of their past lives. Poveglia's architecture adds to its unnerving atmosphere. The abandoned asylum, with its peeling walls and rusted bars, looms like a monument to human cruelty. The bell tower, once used to signal the arrival of plague ships, now stands silent, its shadow casting long, eerie shapes across the island at sunset. Every building seems to groan under the weight of history. Every corner hides a secret too dark to reveal. But perhaps the most terrifying aspect of Poveglia is its reputation as one of the most haunted places on Earth. Paranormal experts consider it a hotspot of spiritual energy, a place where the veil between life and death is thin, where the living and the dead coexist in a tense, uneasy truce. EVP recordings capture voices that have no source, cameras catch fleeting images that vanish upon review, and sensitive instruments register inexplicable spikes in electromagnetic activity. Some theorists suggest that the sheer volume of human suffering concentrated in one place has created a permanent psychic imprint, a haunted resonance that persists long after the bodies have decayed. Stories of visitors disappearing or fleeing in terror abound. One tale tells of a young man who sneaked onto the island at night, armed with a camera. Hours later, he emerged pale and trembling, his footage revealing shadowy figures moving against the wind, whispers urging him to leave, and a sudden, inexplicable darkness that swallowed him whole for minutes at a time. He never returned to Poveglia, and to this day refuses to speak of what he saw. Another account involves a group of paranormal investigators who claimed to witness the ghost of a plague doctor, its mask gleaming under the moonlight, gliding silently over the ruins before vanishing into thin air. They reported an overwhelming feeling of dread, as if the island itself was aware of their presence and not pleased. Some say that the spirits of Poveglia are not just restless. They are malevolent, jealous of the living who dare trespass and eager to expand their numbers. There are warnings that linger in Venetian folklore. Do not attempt to stay on the island after dark. Do not disturb the ruins, and never, ever underestimate the power of its ghosts. Despite its terrifying reputation, Poveglia continues to fascinate. Writers, filmmakers, and paranormal enthusiasts are drawn to its mysteries, seeking to understand the darkness that clings to its shores. Its story has inspired books, documentaries, and countless YouTube videos, each attempting to capture the essence of a place that defies reason. Yet, for all the attention, the island remains untamed, a fortress of fear standing defiantly against time. And as we recount its history, it becomes clear that Poveglia is more than just an island or a set of buildings. It is a living monument to human suffering, a nexus where history and horror intertwine. The cries of the plague victims and the tortured souls of Asylum patients echo through its ruins, a reminder that some places are marked forever, unable to escape the darkness imprinted upon them. Visitors report feelings of nausea, dizziness, and an inexplicable sadness that clings to their very bones. Some claim to see the faces of the dead in the walls, eyes following every movement, expressions frozen in eternal agony. Others hear footsteps behind them, only to turn and find empty corridors, their own heartbeat pounding like a drum in the oppressive silence. Perhaps the most chilling phenomenon is the sense of time itself bending on Poveglia. People recount moments where hours pass in minutes, where shadows move against the natural flow of light, and where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Some researchers suggest this temporal distortion is a result of the psychic energy accumulated over centuries, a warning that the island is alive in ways we cannot comprehend. Scholars and historians alike are drawn to Poveglia, fascinated by the layers of history that coexist within its boundaries. They study the mass graves, the decaying asylum, and the remnants of Venetian fortifications, piecing together a narrative of suffering, resilience, and terror. But even the most rational minds find themselves unnerved, challenged by the inexplicable events reported by visitors. Despite the dangers, some brave souls continue to explore the island, documenting their experiences, hoping to uncover the truth behind its hauntings. They speak of ghostly figures who vanish when approached, doors that slam without cause, and whispers in languages long forgotten. And while many leave shaken, others report a strange, almost hypnotic allure, an urge to return, as if the island calls to those who are willing to confront its darkness. Poveglia's infamy is well earned, and it is considered by many as one of the most haunted places on the planet. Its history is a chilling reminder of humanity's capacity for both survival and cruelty, and its present continues to challenge our understanding of the supernatural. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the stories of Poveglia resonate deeply, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of the known world. The island stands as a silent guardian of its secrets, each ruin and grave a chapter in a story too dark to fully comprehend. Its waters, once a refuge for fleeing ships, now encircle a place that traps the imagination and the soul. As night falls over Venice, the shadow of Poveglia stretches across the lagoon, a dark silhouette of history and horror intertwined. And so, we leave you with a warning whispered by those who have dared to tread its soil. Some places are not meant for the living, some histories are too heavy to bear, and some spirits are too restless to ever find peace. Poveglia is one of them, a forbidden island, a ghost prison, and a monument to terror that will haunt the imagination of all who hear its tale. Thank you for watching Shdows Secrit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories from the shadows.